Hey, it's Karel. Welcome to Karel's Life in Segments. We love the 90s and beyond. We hit the ground running here at Life in Segments. We don't film, months or weeks in advance. We don't have that kind of money, honey. And last night I saw the premiere of season 4 on Free Speech TV. And I got to tell you, I was blown away. So congratulations to Brendan, Riley Miller, and Curtis, and Steve, and Daniel, and everyone involved in my little madness here. And thank you. You guys responded by sending emails to feedback@reallykarel.com of you watching the show. And I got more than one of those, and it just blew me away. For this, I'm still that little scared gay kid, who was once homeless and has always been running from cheap motels his whole life. And to have y'all send me photos of you watching me on television, that's a dream. Because it means we're getting into your homes. And like with this episode, I want you to have some fun. Later, we're going to talk with my friend, opera singer Daniel Charleston, choral singer, opera singer, and about the 90s. Because I had a ball in the 90s. I made history in the 90s with my husband, who couldn't be my husband in the 90s. Imagine that. In the 90s, I had a ball. I made history at KFI Radio with my late husband, Andrew Howard. I wouldn't lose him until 2001, so the decade ended right here at Park Howard. We had our millennial party, the 1999 to 2000 party, right here. And we ended up going on the air at about 12:05, drunk off our butts, and it was talked about for years. Remember when Karel and Andrew went on air on New Year's Eve drunk out of their minds? I'm glad they all remember because, honey, we didn't. It was a fun decade, almost as fun as the 80s, and I don't remember the 70s, and if you do, then you didn't do them right. So it was a fun decade. And in the 90s, I met my friend Marc Summers. And you're going to hear a lot of nice stories about Marc Summers. Marc Summers, I did not know, was an icon to so many until, true story, I was filming a TV show with him. In fact, he called me personally and asked me to audition the week that Andrew died. A television producer calls you the week your partner dies in front of you in the ER. I went up to Valencia to meet with him and Woody Frazier, the producer of The Home Show, and many others, TV legends, both of them. I didn't know either were legends. I sit down and I open Variety, and it's Andrew's obituary. Not making this up. I walk into the room, they call me in, and Marc Summers greets me. And I recognize his face, but I'm not sure from where. And he says, "You don't have to be funny. I know what's going on in your life, but you are perfect for what we are about to do, and I wasn't going to let you, get away just because of what's happened." And I said, "Thank you, because I'm not sure that I could be funny." However, we had such a great meeting that I would go on to be on a show called The Ultimate Revenge, and that starred Ryan Seacrest, of all people. And we would have a ball. Marc is everything that everybody says is about him. He's loyal. He's kind. More importantly, he's so funny. And he's the most supportive person in the entertainment industry that you could possibly meet. Now, underneath all that, I was going to find out a whole lot. Even that I didn't know. And I've been friends with him now since 1998 or 99 by seeing his documentary, On Your Marc. We went to the premiere. And I was lucky enough to sit down with him. He came early. This is the kind of guy he is, okay? His publicist was saying he didn't have time to do this, didn't have time to do that. Marc said, "I will show up early to sit with you, Karel." And he did. We sat at Perf Rock Pizza. I had some vegan pizza, which he made fun of. And we had a fun time on the street talking. Everybody on the street walked up to him because everybody feels they know him. If you're a child of the 90s, then you know Double Dare. You know Nickelodeon as a network. He helped establish it. Then he went on to help establish the Food Network with several shows as producer and, of course, star of Wrapped, or Unwrapped, right? It was Unwrapped. So here is my friend, someone that I'm really happy that I can call a friend, Marc Summers.
I am Karel, and I love to find myself in the most unusual of places. But being next to this man is not unusual for me. 16 years ago, I met him not wearing this jacket, but almost. And it was quite an event. I had just lost my husband, and he calls and says, "You want to do a comedy TV show?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm in a great time for that." I did the TV show, and what I would find out is not only is he a celebrity of great renown, and that because I'm your age and didn't watch the show at the time. Well, I'm only 8 years behind you. But what I also find out is one of the most generous, truly generous people working in show business today. And that's why we have remained friends for 16 plus years. And you can't really say that in this industry with a whole lot of people. He has a new movie coming out, and it's about him. And it's called On Your Marc. And I had to talk to him about it because, first of all, does it make you feel old to have a documentary about yourself?
You know, this was never my idea, by the way. It was put together by fans who grew up watching me on Nickelodeon who came to me and said, "You should really do this." Because documenting my life, I thought would put people to sleep, quite honestly.
Well, we live it. It's kind of hard for us to be that. You know, it's funny. I was talking about millennials earlier. I said, you know, he raised them. You're responsible. Are you happy with the millennials?
Let me go back and correct a few things there. But overall, you know, the audience has been very loyal. Actually, my audience is actually early 40s. And you know, when you think about it, if you were 12 years old and the show is now 31 years old, you're 43 years old. That's so strange for me to even think about.
I know. I have so many young people in their 20s come up and hug me at events, and I'll say, "What's that for?" "I grew up with you, my parents listened to you, or because of you I could come out to my mother." And I'm thinking, how old am I? You know, but you know, you really did make an impact. Nickelodeon didn't exist really. Your show and Nickelodeon sort of helped each other launch into this whole new cable sort of thing at the time.
Yeah, it gave them a network and gave me a career, because at the time they had done research and kids did not have their own game show, and they were living vicariously through watching Price is Right and various other programs, and we provided that service. And talk about right place, right time, 5:30 in the afternoon, mom's making dinner saying, "Go watch your show and then we'll eat." Mess, slime, prizes, money, and the goofiness that we performed on that program seemed to stick.
Literally all over people. Now let me ask you this. You know, I did not intend talk radio. Wasn't where I intended to be. Television now is what I intended, but it took me decades to get there. I don't want to say did you intend it, but was there ever a moment when you were doing Double Dare and you thought, and I signed up for this?
Well, yeah, because when we did the auditions, I didn't know anything about the mess or whatever. I was just trying to get a job. And then the first day I walk in the studio, they're pouring green liquids and whipped cream, and I said, "What is this about?" and so I didn't even have any idea. And my first question then was, "Are you sure kids are going to want to do this?" That's how stupid I was. You know, of course they wanted to do it. And we took surveys with kids, and they said they didn't care about the prizes and money. They just wanted to get messy. So right place, right time had a lot to do with it.
How are kids different this day? Do you see a difference? And do you think you could, and I don't want to say you in general, do you think a show like Double Dare could entertain them in the same way?
I don't know, because they're always walking around looking at something in their hand. And we noticed a big difference when we started the show in '86. We could ask questions, believe it or not, about nursery rhymes or fairy tales. And about 1990, we found out the kids couldn't answer those questions. Why? Moms were going to work and weren't spending as much time with the kids and weren't reading them as much. And so I think the intelligence level, due to circumstances beyond all our controls, may be different. And the kind of trivia that we asked back in the day, you kind of can't ask anymore. So I don't know.
Do you feel... What responsibility did you feel to the kids? I mean, you know what I mean? I try to consider everything I put out, you know. Did you feel any responsibility to the kids and to the type of programming?
You know, I've been lucky, Karel, in that I've been able to do family programming my entire life. Yeah. You know, I never had to step over. There was a show many years ago called Studs. Do you remember Studs?
Well, I should.
That's right. It was named after.
It's been a while.
And it was a dating show. And when I went in for the audition, they wanted me to ask the most insane questions that in a million years, and I literally got up in the middle of the audition and I said, "I'm leaving, call Will Schreiner." I remember that. I can't do that kind of stuff. And so as far as responsibility, I just wanted moms and dads and kids to play together. And I think we accomplished that. I was always getting reprimanded by Nickelodeon because as a kid couldn't get up the Sunday slide. I was pushing him up because I really wanted him to win. And so I think the kids felt like I was never talking down to them. I never said, Bobby, do you have a girlfriend? Because I wanted to host a grown-up show, and to me, I was Bob Barker or Pat Sajak or Alex Trebek. I was channeling them.
All of your friends now.
Oh, yeah. Well,
You tour, you do things like that. You go out and you'll do like Wheel of Fortune.
I'm fine. How are you? Nice to see you.
Yeah. But you do have fun on stage now doing those sorts of things.
I do. I do Price is Right Live from time to time, and we took Family Feud out for a while and stuff like that. And I still do Nickelodeon stuff around.
Well, and you were in here grilling her about her pizza oven. Your career part 2, part 3, part 5, part 8, you really became instrumental in food television and food programming. How do you go from kids to food?
That was a mistake. I went in to pitch a show with another person, and they said, well, why don't you host something? And I said, I don't know anything about food. And apparently Food Network had done their research about me having an audience and the audience following me. Put me on Unwrapped. It became, the longest-running show in the history of the channel.
You helped make Nickelodeon. You helped make the Food Network. Please tell me you're rich.
Yeah, I know. I wish I would. It's a misnomer. People always say, well, you have tons of dough. And it's like, cable in the early days.
Now.
Yeah, well, it's true. I was getting paid $500 an episode when we started, so I was making $2,500 a week, which at that time is the most money I'd ever made in my entire life.
I know. When they started paying us at KFI, I nearly fainted. We were making $2,100 a week each, and I thought, oh my God, we didn't find out we were the lowest paid host in LA, but we thought we were rolling in the dough.
Yeah, I started as an idea man on Truth or Consequences the last year Bob Barker hosted it, and they paid me $300 for 2 days of work. Well, once again, thought I had died and gone to heaven. But I used to work the Magic Castle in 1973 till about 80. We would do 28 shows a week for $145.
You and I, see, I don't want to, how do I say this? You and I know that it's about the work. You get there, you show up, you do what you're asked, and you work until you don't work. Let me ask you now that we have the movie coming out. I don't want to say what are your hopes for the movie. The hopes that people see it, people enjoy it, people love it. And nowadays there's so many ways for that to happen, not just here, but Netflix and other areas. Is it an exciting time? You're a man that isn't just in front, but you're also behind. We talk about OTT apps. We talk about all this other way that people are consuming. Is there too much content now, or is it an exciting time?
Well, they say that there's not enough content, which is why, Netflix and Amazon and all these things are working. People are always craving because of the phones, because of the iPads. When you walk down an aisle of a plane and people are staring at all these things with different content on each one. So, ultimately, I guess I don't think this is going to be a big hit in the theaters. I'm smart enough to know I can't go against Spielberg and those kind of folks. I think it's going to end up, hopefully, on a Netflix and Amazon, something on cable. I would like to think that maybe, Nick at Night or something like that would run it because of the connection there. Maybe in Food Network. Who knows? We haven't gotten to that point yet.
Today's your sneak peek, right? This is the first.
This is the world premiere today here in Los Angeles. And from here we go to New York, then Philadelphia, Austin, Texas, Baltimore, and we close it out in Chicago. And we're trying to raise some awareness, and then we'll see what happens. But like you, I think if you do anything for the money, it ain't going to work. I think you do it because you have a passion for it. And this young gentleman, Matt Klickstein, who put this whole thing together, had a passion for, I don't know, whatever it was he saw when he was a kid of me doing and then following me along. And then a guy by the name of Josh Yawn who edited the whole thing. These are people I met when they were very young, and they
aren't they brilliant young people who in the industry who I wouldn't be on TV if it weren't for this 30-year-old who I met when he was 12. He was my nephew Jake. They went to school together. He used to party in my kitchen at 19 years old with Jake, and I called him about 5 years ago and said, these idiots at Free Speech TV say if I can give them a show they'll put it on, and I want a show. He said, let's go to work, and we now enter season 4, and he makes it all look so easy, but at the same time this could not have been done 10 years ago the way that we're doing it today. I would talk to you forever because we talk a lot on the phones when we have when I'm lucky enough to do so. We did a show together. I want to ask you, our practical joke show, The Ultimate Revenge, it was fun and it didn't hurt anybody. Yeah. Then all of a sudden reality TV, and it blazed a path in reality television with Woody Frazier and you producing and these wonderful segments. And then reality TV got mean. Why do you suppose that happened?
I don't know, rating-wise, I suppose. Ryan Seacrest was our host. He was,
I won't talk about him. I won't. I'm sorry. He's not a loyal person. He's not a person. I know you don't have to say a word. You just camera on me. He's not a loyal person. Every award show you come up and say hi to me, I think, why are you doing it? You will not take a meeting with me. Please go away. Closet doors that way. Anyway, but that's why I'm Karel and you're Marc Summers, beloved, and I get in the papers being a controversial person. But
got mean.
Because I was in charge. No.
It's because people are gravitated. You know, I don't understand why people watch any of those families. I'm not going to even mention names because our friend produces some of those shows.
Oh, you mean the Kardashians never watched an episode? I thought, why would I watch a dysfunctional family? I came from one.
You know, because I guess it makes you feel better by watching that kind of stuff. And
I don't like to watch the wealthy. We have this weird thing, and this is off topic, but we seem to now be watching the wealthy as we all get poorer and poorer. And I thought that's not a good pastime.
no, and so I don't seem to watch a lot of reality television like that. More important, I'd like to talk about this schmata that you're wearing because it has.
I wore it the first time we filmed together.
First time we
I
did.
had to dig it out of the closet. It was something. Let's talk food versus kids. Which one did you have more fun in?
Oh my God, you know, it's apples and oranges. The kids is what got me to where I am, but Food Network was a surprise as well. I had no intention of working there or thinking.
Again, blazing a trail. Now we in America, we spend more time watching people cook than we do eating and cooking ourselves.
Yeah, it's true. And, you know, I think Emeril and I were the ones who sort of launched Food Network. He certainly exploded with the show he did. And Unwrapped, I was doing what Fietti is doing now with Diners, Drivers, and Dives. We were doing with Unwrapped back in the day. So I'm still producing for them.
Are you going to slow down? You got the movie. You're going to go on tour. Are you thinking of slowing down at all? Because I don't know what that looks like or feels like. Do you? You just work until you can't.
I'll be 66 in a few weeks.
Oh, there.
And, you know, my wife would like me to slow down. I guess when I'm 70,
Your grandkid.
I have a grandchild who's fantastic.
Beautiful. I see him on Instagram.
Yeah, so, you know, I just take it as it goes. As long as my health stays together and I feel like doing it, you know, we'll keep going. You know, when the phone stops ringing, that's the indication.
Oh, yeah, that's exactly
Yeah.
Well, you've got a premiere to get to, and your fans are starting to line up, so I want you to get inside. So, you know, but you're always so gracious with them, and you just take so much time with them and talk to them. And I think that's why you've lasted in a business where people are disposable. I think you've lasted because people know, you know, look, all the years about me, you've known this, and so has my audience. What you see is what you get. You know, there's no pretense. Right? That's right. That's why you hired me. And he did hire me. This is the first person to actually pay me to be on television. I'm not making that up. You were the first person to pay to put me on television.
Yeah, but it's because you were unique, and you are unique, and I thought, you know, that's what we needed. Because we could put you in any situation, ask you to do anything, you always said yes.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I was an idiot. I was stupid. You nearly killed me several times. I had to jump out a 3-story window, and I thought, I hope the production assistant opened the right window, you know, but out I went. Thank you for doing this and coming early for me today. I really want your movie to be a success, continued success in everything you do. I know that in whatever you do, it's going to be genuine and honest, and that everyone that surrounds you will always have fun as well. You make working fun. I was never scared. You always made me feel welcome. You never made me feel like I had to go to that trailer over there or something. It was, well, there were other people. No, we didn't. I remember when I was in the homeless episode, they mistook me for one of the homeless and wouldn't let me on the set. But thank you, and success with the film.
Really doing this. You're
For you, anything at all. Marc Summers, you know him, you grew up with him. His movie is On Your Marc. Go to On Your Marc or just type in Marc Summers movie online, and it's coming to a city near you. And then once it's on Netflix and Nick at Night and all those places, be sure you tune in and watch it. All right, I am Karel. I'm going to go watch it now because I haven't seen it yet, so I'm going to go see it. Thank you, Marc. I am Karel. This is Ember. That's my friend Marc Summers. Go see his movie On Your Marc, and go meet him, and go hug him. And you know, he's huggable. You know, when I do personal appearances, people often want to take a photo with me. I'm very blessed. I mean, the fact that anyone would, you know, I once, true story, I once happened upon, I had to go to San Jose. I was working at KGO Radio, and to the San Jose Tapestry Festival. Well, I took the airplane, and then I walked from the airport to this park. Bad mistake. It's over 2 miles. It was 104. I get there, and I come down over this hill, and there's this festival, and there's this very long line around a building. So I'm walking by it, figuring I'll find where I need to go for the booth. When I get about halfway up the block, I ask this person, what are you waiting in line for? And they say, oh, we're here to meet Karel. And I laughed. I went, And they said, yeah. Are you here to meet him? I said, in a way.
I said, where is he? And they pointed down that way. So I get to the KGO booth, and I am like astounded. There's hundreds of people waiting. And the first person in line had to have been there the longest. So I asked them, why? Why are you here? I wouldn't wait in line this long to see Barbra Streisand. Why are you here to meet me? And all they could say is because I needed a hug. And I thought, wow. The 90s, I kind of didn't pay attention to. I'm not making that up. But I'm always with my friend Daniel Charleston, always, my BFF. And we go everywhere together. And he's actually pulling all these 90s references out, and I have no effing clue what he's talking about, much like he has. Actually, he pretty much knows what I'm talking about the 70s and 80s. But I know nothing about the 90s in a lot of ways, like boy bands and Spice Girls. And the funny thing is, I realize everyone in this room was born in 1987 except me and Ember. That's it. Everybody in this room was born in. That's disgusting. I was 25 years old in 1987. Make me feel old. So we are talking the 90s, mainly because my friend Marc Summers is on the show. And I was talking earlier about Marc Summers, but to you, Marc Summers is like, to me, he's a friend and a coworker. But to you, I remember when Jake and Heather met, I'm like, I had introduced Jake and Heather to everybody up until that point. But when they met Marc Summers, they were like, oh, so why? What?
It's like Nickelodeon God, the game show God. Where else can you have fun answering questions, a chance to win money, and get covered in slime or cover your friends in slime?
In the new interview I did, he said some of the kids today might have trouble answering the questions.
Yeah, I believe it.
Oh, sad state of affairs. Do you think you 90s kids are smarter than the kids today?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, you were a kid with Clinton. Everything was great. Money, spend money, have a great, we're in the money. And
Right.
How old were you when Monica Lewinsky and him hooked up? Did you guys even know?
That was Tom Green era, right? So 97?
Yeah.
Yeah, Tom Green had a song.
All right, Britney Spears' first song was Sometimes You Drive Me Crazy, Toxic, or Baby One More Time. I'm going to say Baby One More Time. Oh, and?
What were the choices again?
It's Sometimes You Drive Me Crazy, Toxic, or Baby One More Time.
Oh, gosh.
You were just telling me how she's on
Sometimes?
some
No.
sort of Mickey club with Ryan Gosling and who else? Two hot guys.
Maybe one more time.
Oh, yeah, that's the song. But she was a Mickey Mouseketeer.
She was Mouseketeer with
Gosling?
Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling, all childhood actors.
Oh, my God. And there was no sex.
So it's Hit Me Baby One More Time.
It is, yeah. The TY logo with a heart is a symbol of strawberry shortcake, troll dolls, My Little Pony, or Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies.
Beanie Babies. I have some. They're worth nothing nowadays.
There's a few that's worth.
They're worth nothing.
I had to keep them in plastic containers and
Oh, my God. Who does that?
protect the TY logo.
We've kept Madonna in plastic since then. That's enough.
There are thousands of grandmas that have kept
A
them.
small, strange little rainbow-colored ball with little plastic things all sticking out of it was a toy called the Ushi ball, the Kush ball, or the Slush ball.
Slush? They all start with a K? Klush?
Kush ball, to me, is a nice nugget of pot. I'll say Slush ball. We're wrong. Kush ball.
A Kush ball,
A
right?
Kush ball. What do you remember most about the 90s? Because that was growing up for you.
Rollerblades, Pogs.
Pogs. I know one of the inventors of Pogs.
Really?
Do you know what Pog stands for?
I don't know.
Passion orange guava juice. In Hawaii, the tops of the passion orange guava juice were these I have Pogs here. Were the lids, and the poor kids would take them and play games with them. You know so much more about the 90s than I do, and yet I was alive in it at the same time. I don't know how that happened. There's so much I don't know. You said all the boy bands were together and swapping songs.
Right, any song that NSYNC passed on, Backstreet Boys had the option to record.
And there was no sex going on there.
No sex.
Oh, and so we'll have to ask Lance Bass about that. It was the 90s. We had sex. It was before, no, it's during AIDS, actually. Go and find 90s photos if you want to at my Instagram, because I'm going to be posting 90s photos in conjunction with the Do you have any 90s photos of you as a kid? I do. Oh, we should post them on Instagram.
They're adorable.
Oh, are they? Well, why wouldn't they be? I had big hair in the 90s.
I had a bowl cut.
A bowl cut?
It was common in the 90s, right?
No, it was not. Amongst who? Not the gays. You know what? What a fun frickin' episode. I can't believe how poorly I did on that 90s quiz. I guess I really was drunk or not paying attention or something. I'm not sure. By the way, this is a very nice... I'm wearing khakis, okay? I'm wearing khakis. And this black sort of polo-looking shirt with these little round... I am screaming 90s right down to the mohawk. Also, if you go to reallykarel.com, my Instagram, you'll see a picture of me. It's still there. When I was like 6 years old, and I had a mohawk at the time, too. But what a fun episode. Thanks to Marc Summers for sitting down with me, for taking time. Well, you know, who doesn't love the 90s? Obviously, from that quiz, I was not paying as close attention as Daniel Charleston was. But, you know, hey, whatever. I made it through them. That's the biggest part of any decade, is that you live through it. Ask Whitney. Oh! That's the second week in a row I've made a terribly distasteful Whitney Houston joke. What did she ever do to me? Go see the movie On Your Marc. It's at marcsummersmovie.com, M-A-R-C, Marc Summers Movies. And one of the reasons he's doing it is two reasons: to inspire you and to tell you can overcome things like leukemia, like OCD, and like so many things, to follow your dreams and not to get in your own way. I did that a lot in the 90s. I really did. I still do, but I got in my own way a lot in the 90s. And, you know, we had to learn to get out of them and let the new millennial flow. On Instagram, you'll find my 90s photos. I'm going to start posting some 90s photos, and I encourage you to do the same with the hashtag LifeInSegments. I am Karel. Be who you want to be, so long it didn't hurt anybody. Do you think anyone's going to say they love the 2017s or the 2010s? What are they going to be called even? The 20-aughts? Like 2000 to 20, what is it? The 20, see? The end. Yeah, the end. Yeah, they're going to, yes, exactly. The end. That's what they're going to call 2016. The beginning of the end. And then any day now, the end.